Hey, I am Beth Bacon, the author of COVID-19 Helpers, and I'm out here in the woods with my book, ready to read you the story. I've got my mask on, of course, just like our character here in the book, and I think you can hear me just fine through it, so I'll just keep it on. Why not? Here we go. Can you see that? In the spring of 2020, something very unusual happened. What happened in the spring of 2020? Children around the world stopped going to school. They stopped playing in the parks. They stopped going to sports games and movie theaters and birthday parties. In the spring of 2020, it seemed like kids everywhere were doing nothing. But they weren't doing nothing. They were doing something very important. They were helping to fight a brand new disease. COVID-19 appeared for the first time just a few months before. Most people were not harmed by the virus, but it made some people very sick. Because it was new, doctors did not have a cure, so people everywhere began to help. Healthcare workers helped sick people recover. Researchers helped to discover new medicines. Leaders helped by making new plans. Reporters helped share the news. Farmers and grocers helped by making sure there was healthy food to eat. Truck drivers helped by transporting supplies. Garbage collectors helped by keeping communities clean. When they went to the market, shoppers helped by wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart. And kids helped too, just by staying at home. It may seem like staying at home was doing nothing, but this was an important job. COVID-19 is spread by tiny droplets in the air. When more people get together, more droplets fill the air. When fewer people get together, fewer droplets fill the air. With fewer droplets in the air, fewer people may get sick. Soon, researchers will find a cure. Until they do, everyone is helping. Everyone, including kids like you. And that's the story of COVID-19 helpers. Are you a COVID-19 helper? Now we're going to talk to the illustrator about how she made one of the pictures. Here's a picture from the middle of the book, COVID-19 Helpers. It's the part that talks about kids helping just by staying at home. Kary Lee is the illustrator, and we have a movie of all the different versions of this picture, and she's going to talk to us about how she got from the beginning to the end of this picture. So I'm going to start this little movie and ask Kary some questions. My first question, Kary, is the girl on the left side of the page. She changes a lot.
Yeah, what happens is I start out with an idea, and in this case, it was a little girl looking out the window. And when I was working out the way that I wanted her to look, there were a lot of different variations, and I finally realized once I was developing the character that I wanted her to be standing up. And so I played around with a lot of different ideas, and once I developed the concept and the character and the scene, this is what I ended up with.
I can see a building and a tree, but in the book, there is no building in the window or a tree.
Right, when I was starting out with the idea, of course, literally there was a building and a tree in my idea, but I realized that it might be better for any child to think about looking out their window and what they would see out their window. So I thought it would be better to leave the outside to the imagination and focus on the breeze coming through and just have the curtain there.
And I see you spent a lot of time working on the doggy.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had, you can see there's a lot of different dogs, and they were all fun to draw. But I realized when I drew the last one, who's a little pug, I realized that that was the most like my dog Bosco when I was little. And none of the other dogs really made sense until I drew her.
And what about the colors?
Well, the colors, that's the fun part I get to do after I have my illustration set up and I need to think about the color palette. And what that means is I need to take colors that I've used throughout the whole book so that as you're turning the page and looking at the pictures, they all work together just like the character. And so then once I have the unification with all of that, then we have all of the illustrations in the book that work together.
Wonderful. I'm going to read you the text on this page that we can't see. The text goes in the part on the right side of the page that just looks like a blank wall. And it says, and kids helped too, just by staying at home. It may seem like staying at home was doing nothing, but this was an important job. Kary, can you talk about the feeling of this page?
Yeah, this I feel like is one of the most important images and pages of the whole book. And it's a picture of showing the little girl and the dog doing nothing. And they seem bored, but the reality is they're really doing a very important job by being at home and staying inside. But it doesn't mean they aren't bored. It's hard to stay home and it's hard to stay inside, but they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, sometimes we have to do things for the greater good. And
Right.
and that's what the story is about. Kids are helping too. Thanks so much, Kary. It was so fun to work on this book with you. And thanks to kids everywhere for all the great things you're doing during this pandemic. I hope you had fun watching this. See you next time.